Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. Hope you had a great weekend. Okay, to kick off this week, unfortunate news in terms of, terrorism, because there's been this news story about a new terror group, Lagbaja. We're going to get used to that name as well. It's said to be a jihadi faction, spilling out of Niger and Mali, and they've been creating havoc in the Sokoto area, not just Sokoto and Kebbi. It will seem to most people as a new kind of a group, but then those residents of those areas say that they have been known of going back to 2018, going back to the past 6 years or so. Well, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, Acting Chief of Army Staff, was in Sokoto yesterday, the 8th Division of the Nigeria Army, to inspect the troops and also instruct them that no quarter must be considered in rooting out these people. Now, they are said to this particular Lagbaja terror group. It's said to have affiliations with jihadi factions, as I said, in Niger and Mali. Now, worse still, they're supposedly recruiting the youths in the area. So it's one of the things that the Chief of Army Staff was telling the people that he met in Sokoto yesterday, that they needed to be giving correct and timely information. Nobody's an island. The army is professional, it knows how to go about its work, it has its intelligence, but it's all on behalf of the people, and the very people have their own parts to play. And so he was admonishing them that they needed to, step up and give the authorities as good information as they possibly could. They've even been exacting what they call zakat. Taxes. Now, this is not the kind of thing that we want to hear about. And you would have thought that we don't need this is not the time that we need these kinds of distractions. We already have our plate full with, terrorists and these criminals and all of that kind of a thing. But look, here we are, and the Nigeria Army has said that it'll be brooking no quarters in confronting these people. So that's what we'll be looking at this morning. Probably the rest of us, when I say the rest of us, that's outside the Sokoto axis, to whom the name, we're just getting used to the name, Lukarawa, if I'm saying that right, but that is the spelling, Lukarawa. It might be pronounced differently, but that's the new thing that we're contending with. It's not known all over the place, but it has been known for the past 6 years. Even analysts, security analysts, are saying that, oh, this has been well known. It's just that they're not exactly sure. And if they know it, if analysts know it, then the Nigeria Army certainly knows it as well. So why it is being seen or, addressed as a new sort of a group is not at all, it's not clear. But all of this is supposed to be stemming out of political instability in Niger and Mali. These groups are coming out of there, and they've taken up refuge in the forests around Sokoto. So one of the key tasks, I imagine, that the military is going to have to be addressing will be how to flush the forests out. Well, you'd think that for an army, that wouldn't be too much of a big deal, but you can well imagine that, it won't be easy either. So when our guests come on, we'll be looking at what the challenges are. Reportedly, they have appealed to the extent that this can be done by a terrorist group, but I did say they're not Nigeria-based. They are reported to have appealed that, give us some time and we'll clear out. Now, I don't know. I can't vouch for the veracity of that kind of an idea. I don't imagine that the Nigerian army will be negotiating or bargaining with terrorists, but there's so many news reports. If you were to just Google it online and search for it, we'd like to, just give us some time, give us a week. We'll clear out. But as I said, these are just some of the things that you'll be picking up just before we know by speaking with experts, hands-on experts that are in those areas. Okay, so all of this against the backdrop of the loss of General Lagbaja, his exit, and the continued fight against terrorism across the country, but especially in those areas where it is known to be quite high. And, well, now stepped in is the acting chief of army staff, Olufemi Oluyede, who I said was yesterday in Sokoto to inspect the Nigerian army. Okay, our guest this morning will be joining us shortly. There are those kind of, it happens from time to time, so he's going to join us immediately. But in the meantime, for those of you that are watching us around the Sokoto axis, you might want to call in. You might want to, okay, okay, I even hear that we're lucky in the sense that we do have our guests here already, and he's coming to us out of our Abuja studio. Do we have contact with our guest there? I'm not sure that we have contact with our guest. Do we? Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Hello, I'm hearing you.
Good morning. Okay, our guest is Dr. Sani Abdullahi Shinkafi. Good morning, Dr. Shinkafi. Our guest is Dr. Sani Abdullahi Shinkafi. He is the former Zaria State Chair of the Committee for the Prosecution of Armed Banditry and Related Offenses. Good morning to you, sir. Okay.
Former chairman, former Zamfara State chairman, former Zamfara State chairman for prosecution of armed banditry related offenses.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for setting us straight there. We made a note of that, and it will be addressed speedily. Okay, so we were just talking about this new, well, we've heard from experts that it's not exactly new if something that emerged in as far back as 2018 is concerned, but it has been referred to as a new terrorist threat, the Lukarawa group. They are said to have spilled out of Niger and Mali as a result of political instability there. So could you sort of clue us in? The first thing is that it's not new to experts and analysts in the sector. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is not new. This Lukarawa terrorists migrated from Burkina Faso, Mali, Senegal, and Niger Republic. Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi State share border with Niger Republic. And Niger Republic also share border with Mali and Burkina Faso. For Niger Republic, you can go into the land border of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Senegal, and Benin Republic. So because of the porosity of the land border and ongoing spaces in Sokoto precisely and in Kebbi State, because Lukarawa now have taken over some villages in Bali in Kebbi, and also in Tangaza, local government of Sokoto State and Gidam Madi area. And part of even Kebbi State, in Augi Kangiwa, where Kebbi State share border with Niger Republic.
Okay.
They were even cited some years ago in Shinkapi local government where we share boundary with Niger Republic. So it's not a new.
How about Tangaza local government?
Tangaza, yes. Tangaza share border with the Bali, Gada, and Binji local government. So Tangaza share border with the Niger Republic. In the Sokoto East, about 8 local government share border with Niger Republic. Goronyo local government, Sabombrini local government, Isa local government, Gada local government, Tangaza local government, Ilelo local government, and Bali. That is Gudu local government. Most of even inhabitants in Gudu local government are even migrated from Niger Republic. So, because of the proximity of the border and ongoing spaces by the government authority in Nigeria, that would give birth to the existence of this terrorist called Lakurawa in this nearest border local government with Niger Republic. In Sokoto State, also in Kebbi State.
Now, Lukarawa, you've used the word about twice that they migrated from. Now, so it sort of half answers the perhaps question that one might have had, that look, if they've migrated from and have entered into, Sokoto, for example, and the citizens there sort of accepted, there was no quote-unquote xenophobic aspect to them. Say, oh, who are you guys? It makes me ask, are people, because never mind the borders that are largely thought to be artificial, are these people of the same stock as some Nigerians that would have given the people in those areas that they've migrated into, how they have been sort of, I don't know what the word is to use now, accommodating of them, as opposed to blowing the alarm and calling the authorities that we don't know who these people are. Where did these people come from? But apparently, they've been able to assimilate. Well, so what kind of stock are they?
You see, the way the Lakurawa have a base in that neighboring local government of Sokoto State and even Kebbi State, they deceived the inhabitants of that local government by telling them, we are here to assist you to fight armed bandits and those who are and the armed bandits and cattle roster and other criminal elements. So, being that, what they did in Bali, in Gudu, in Tangaza, wherever they know they hide out of armed bandits, they will go and kill the armed bandits and drive them away from their hideout. So they said they came there to assist them in the fight against armed banditry in their domain. Well, they came with to promote some Islamic ideologies, which are also unknown or are not practiced in that locality. So that is how they deceive them. And because the government have failed to secure the rural communities there, then the Lakurawa now come and say, look, we're ready to come and assist you and drive away these armed bandits. And that is how they now penetrated into the rural communities in those localities. So the Lakurawa also came with also some Islamic behavioral activities, that anybody selling cigarette in that community, they will close the shop and burn down the shop. And most of this also, they even preside in a private congressional prayer. They do summons, private summon, and any imam who cannot speak Arabic fluently, they will now remove him and bring and interview another imam to continue leading the community in that locality, in the private congressional prayer. So this is how they came. They came to promote some Islamic ideology.
all this under the nose of the authorities in the past 6 years, it really boggles the mind. I mean, there are traditional rulers, there are Islamic experts, scholars, and no alarm was raised. They even are reported to have been exacting so-called zakat taxes.
Yeah, they used to even enforce any Fulani man or rich man in that locality who refused to pay up zakat, which is among the 5 pillars of Islam. Then this Lakurawa will now come and remove zakat and give out to the needies. So the failure of the authority to manage the situation at the earliest stage that now which gave back to these terrorists. And it is because the border is very porous. And the Zamfara border, Kebbi border, and the Sokoto border has a very wide landmass. And there is no enough personnel, security operatives, or immigration to check the inflows of these foreigners into the Nigerian show. And most of these traditional rulers, in their various domain, there is one phrase that says, if you cannot beat them, join them. Because they have more sophisticated weapons, arms and ammunition, more than armed bandits. So what the people now accommodate them because they were helping them in fighting these armed bandits. Armed banditry have been in existence for over a decade. So now they knew the locals and deceived them that they will assist them in flushing out this armed banditry since the government have failed to secure the rural community. And they have an hidden agenda to promote this Islamic ideology.
Which now brings us to the Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, the acting chief of army staff. He was in Sokoto yesterday, according to news reports, to see the lie of the ground. And this follows the unfortunate passing of General Lagbaja, who everybody knows, God rest his soul, was the substantive, officer in charge before. Now we have this situation. We know it's a continuum. General Oluyede is going to have to continue and take the fight to these people. How much damage has been done by the seeming acceptance, the acquiescence, until now we see that, oh dear, we've been deceived. It might be that all the authorities, well, I don't even know, I don't know that the army was deceived, but certainly the citizens were deceived in that place. And so they never made a complaint. If they had made a complaint, I imagine that the military, the intelligence, and all of those people would have investigated and action would have been taken. But now that we have what it is, how optimistic are you that the army can effectively address this? Have they been entrenched? And we've been hearing, we've been reading that they now have their hideouts in surrounding forests. So how optimistic are you that we can get a quick result on this, flush these people out, and continue with our lives? Because we certainly have enough on our plates in terms of anti-terrorism work than to be dealing with this one again. How optimistic are you that our boys in uniform can handle this effectively?
Best and famous, let me condole Mr. President and the High Military Command and the family of late General Lagbaja, who has been in the forefront in the fight against armed banditry and terrorism. Is a very humble, very dedicated and professional military personnel. Wherever he served with humility. He exhibited higher sense of intellectual without arrogance. May the soul of Lieutenant General Lagbaja rest in peace. So the appointment of General Olufemi Oluyede. There is a phrase that says, soldier go, soldier come, barracks remains. So with the emergence of the General Olumide, Olufemi Oluyede, as the acting chief of army staff, on the roll, his number 24 chief of army staff appointed, and led Lagbaja in the 23rd chief of army staff. He was able to serve this country for the period of at least 16 months or 17 months, if I'm not mistaken. May his soul rest in peace. So I want to categorically state that it is on record, General Oluyede Olufemi is a very gallant military officer. He has served in a various theater command, and he is a very experienced military officer. So this is the enormous challenges for him, the emergence of this Lakurawa. He has a lot of tasks ahead of him. Fight against terrorism, cattle rustling, armed banditry, cultism, kidnapping for ransom, militancy, IPOP, and many other criminal elements across the north and the southern protectorate of Nigeria. So it is not only the fight against Lakurawa or armed bandits in the northern Nigeria or in the northwest. It's the main task ahead of him. I commend his courageous effort and gallant foresight for him to visit Tangaza and also Bali and Gidamadi to send a message to these terrorists and criminal elements in Tangaza local government in Sokoto state. And also he went there to boost the morale of the military officers at the war front. So we want him to dedicate his effort and fight against this criminal and armed bandit, most especially the new emergence of this Lakurawa in Sokoto, in Kebbi, and other parts of Zamfara state. He should not relent in his effort to make sure that he secures the territorial integrity of Nigeria. The chief of army staff and other service chiefs should work hand in hand in synergy to make sure that they restore peace and tranquility in the state, in the nation in general. So this Lakurawa issue and this armed banditry in the northwest is a highly complex issue. The government have neglected these communities, bad governance, and also the border were not properly managed by those who are in charge of border control. And also the internal security gathering. Sometimes the internal security agencies will now do their work to gather the intelligence, but sometimes the action agencies will not ignore it. I'm very quite sure that the internal security, that is the DSS, and other intelligence security agencies have made this report for previous years well known to the authority, but the action agencies are so reluctant to tackle the issue of this emergence of the Lakurawa terrorists for the past 6 years.
Okay.
There must be an intelligence gathering. And once the intelligence gathering has been gathered, then it is left for the action agencies to strike and flush out this criminal.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Dr. Shikafi, we'll take a break now. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. We'll continue this conversation and indeed take calls from home. Stay with us, please. Zamfara State Committee for the prosecution of armed banditry and related offenses. And thank you very much, Dr. Shikafi, for being our guest this morning. We're trying to understand what a lot of Nigerians might have heard of as a new terror group, Lukarawa, and you've been explaining to us their antecedents and how they sort of originated. We're looking at Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and all of those places. Of course, the question there is that those governments were able to get rid of these undesirable elements. How come Nigeria comes now is the repository? There's nowhere else for them to go. It's Nigeria that they sort of spill into. Is it because of our size? Is it because of our forests? And then they've been there for the past 6 years, as you've been also explaining to us. We'll call the other part that you've also spoken about is the reluctance, shall we say, of the authorities here to confront this issue. We'll go to that. But first of all, I was curious as to that question about Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. They drive them out. We, I imagine, have superior, armed forces. We are now suffering it. How do you explain that to the ordinary Nigerian citizen who is wondering, how can you drive these ne'er-do-wells out of your countries and now they become a problem to our country? Dr. Shinkafi.
You see, the problem we're facing in Nigeria, both those on the authority and also those the populace, that is the populace, the locals, and including traditional rulers, there is conspiracy of silence. When these Lakurawa immigrated from Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal and Niger to get into the Nigerian border and settle in this local community in Tangaza, Gudu local government, Kangiwa and other part of even Argungu local government and part of Shinkapi local government. When they came to this place, the traditional rulers and the security agencies and even the state governors have the information, have the security report, but they were so reluctant to now find a way to drive them out of the Nigerian show because of the conspiracy of silence. This Lakurawa, like in Shinkapi local government, they have wanted to ally with Turji. But when they came through the land border, because Pakai and Chida, where Turji base, it's not up to 30 kilometers or 20 kilometers to Niger Republic. When they came, they said the Haida is a deep forest where they can stay in Shinkapi local government. They stay there, do a Friday prayer there with their motorcycles, their proper, and left for more than 4 years. They went to also another forest in Muhai. They wanted to ally with Ado Aleru, and they stayed there in Njibga for some months. And the security agencies in the past, about 4 years ago, gave this security report to action agencies. When I was a chairman committee for prosecution of armed banditry related offenses, we have such a report from the DSS in Mutu, in Mada district. These terrorists were sighted in such rural communities. Yet, the action agencies have not done the needful. So these are on the part of the action agencies, that is the military and the federal government. On the local communities and the state government, there is also conspiracy of silence. So the attention of the state governors and the local communities were diverted on the fight against armed banditry, cattle rustling, kidnapping for ransom, and herders and farmers clashes. Well, these also, Lakurawa, that is the terrorists, are roaming about Zamfara, Kebbi, and Sokoto, try to get a base where they will have a hideout. Wherever they go in a forest, they drive away the armed bandit in the hideout because they are more armed than armed bandit. They are more equipped than armed bandit. And they are also luring the local populace and telling them, trying to promote Islamic ideology. So they are Islamic extremists. The way and the manner they conduct their activities in such locality. So even if they saw you in that a local community, if you don't have beer, they will now force you to keep. You should not barb your beer. And if your trouser have fast your foot, they will tell you to draw it up. So the way they came, they were behaving like they are like Sunni, and they are now also in Tangaza. They even did Molid this year, and it was massively attended by the local community, including the traditional rulers. So these are some of the danger of habiting or hosting these terrorists. Before you know it will now become another Boko Haram or armed bandit.
Indeed.
All hands must be on deck.
It looks like they rode on the back of
crime and criminality.
Like they rode on the back of Islam. It looked like they rode that they just look for the one thing that unites them, Islam. Never mind the sect. Never mind what kind of Islam, whether indeed the religious authorities approve of their sect. But in the meantime, somebody else has called in. Good morning. Give us your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning,
sir. Good morning to Dr. Shinkasi. This is George from Ikeja.
Okay, good morning, Mr. George.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. From what the guest is explaining, this group that is coming up now, it looks like a self-imposed problem. How would you see a gang that is more powerful than the bandits that the government has been fighting, and you did not report them, you did not draw the attention of the authorities to their presence for 4 or 5 years until they started terrorizing you and killing you? I find it difficult to
understand.
One thing must be made clear, Uncle Yori. The military alone cannot fight wars against the bandits and these criminals. The community must play their own role. They are the first victims. I'm not seeing the role the community is playing in the Northwest as complementary. They seem, like the speaker said, they seem to be complicit. And I don't know why. It's not the same thing we see in the South-West here. I always make reference to their attitude to such things. When you see infiltration of strangers and something that is dangerous, the first thing you should do as a community is to resist it. But our brothers over there, they do not resist it. They keep silent until it grows out of hand.
Yeah.
And I don't know the reason why they do that. They are making things difficult for the military to tackle insecurity in those areas.
Yeah.
I think there is need for the elite in the North to come together again and look at this matter critically and diagnose it. The problem lies with the local leadership and the government. I may be wrong. I need to be proved wrong. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in. He used the word conflicted there, and Dr. Shinkafi has also used the expression conspiracy of silence. And, that's the part that might be a bit strange, surprising to people who are not from the area, because it's all right to comment, criticize perhaps, even try to analyze from afar. but Lord knows what is going on in the minds of the locale there. What is the confliction is the question that one might ask. I don't know, it might not be in all of the North, but we hear of religious police, for instance, who are watching for any infringement. But here are these people, they're clearly not of us, that is Nigerian, and maybe if there is any such thing as Nigerian Muslims or Islam, I think we also have sects. But because the most northern Muslims will want to be faithful and respectful to their religion, Islam, is it that they didn't understand that, no, this is not the kind of Islam that you allow in? But they were calling the shots. Is it that they saw them as a sort of an esoteric sect? Because I just heard that even the traditional rulers in the place, they joined in this conspiracy of silence. Was it a conspiracy of silence or a conspiracy of confusion? Where is that knowledge, academic knowledge, deep spiritual academic knowledge that Islam is noted for, such that a deviation from those strict, paths was not sort of understood until we now have what we are referring to as a full-blown terror gang? Dr. Shinkafi, so was it
when they came in those rural community, they came as a savior, that they came to save the community from how the armed bandits and cattle rustlers are terrorizing the community.
Okay.
They hide their identity. They hide their ideology.
So they were seen as brothers.
They drive away. They were seen as a brothers or as a saviors because of the ongoing spaces.
Yeah.
You can travel from here to Zampara, some rural community, for more than 100 kilometers without seeing one policeman, even a constable. So those ongoing spaces get back to this criminality. Most of these spaces, there is shortage of manpower to deploy more security in these ongoing spaces. So these ongoing spaces get back to all this sort of criminality, rascality, and all this sort of banditry. So this is the problem. So some of these traditional rulers are being dabbling with the issue of this banditry, cattle rustling, imposition of levies and taxes before harvesting and planting by these armed bandits. So people in those rural communities saw these people as their saviors because of the absence of security agencies to fight this criminal. So they were so silent, and now also the state government and the local government heard about this criminal element, but they were not able to now transmit or report to the appropriate action agencies or security to tackle this thing when it was at the earlier stage. It was mismanaged due to the negligence of the people in the authority. And the absence of the local government administration, and the absence of local government administration for more than 2 decades. Because most of these state governors refused to conduct local government election. It is after the pronouncement of the Supreme Court giving the full autonomy to the local government. So in the absence of these local government elected councils or officials will also give back to bad governance, criminality, poverty, illiteracy, disease and hunger and unemployment. So these are some of the root factors which get back to this all sorts of criminalities in the Northwest region. So it is this is one of the most challenges, numerous challenges, by the acting chief of staff, chief of army staff, to liaise with other service chiefs to fight this war squarely and flush this criminal in the Northwest region and Nigeria in general.
Indeed, that is where I wanted to sort.
This is one of the biggest challenges of the army staff and other service chiefs.
So we are now, we would expect that now that it's all out in the open that these are not friends, these are foes. They come under the coverage of Islam, pretending to be friends, but we've now seen that they are nothing like friends. The next level is the capacity, our capacity to get rid of them, the very way all those people, ranging from Burkina Faso to Mali to Niger and all of those people, knew them for what they were and, you know, shooed them away. Now it is our turn. They've all come in here. How well do you think we are able to do that particular job? I'll come back for your comments on this particular question, but I hear that Mazi Okoroafo has called in. So let me quickly take Mazi Okoroafo's comments and observations. Good morning, Mazi Okoroafo.
Honestly speaking, the new, what I call the new arrival group, so-called, what is it called? Lukarawa.
Yes.
Honestly speaking, I would just call the new Army General. Not allow those people to leave that KB and Sokoto free. Because if I allow them, they are going to spread. We have seen the existing one. So any procedure, any system he has, whether kinetic or not kinetic, they should use it now. Because we are told, according to research, that this very group is the most deadliest, more than Al-Qaeda. People from Niger, people from Mali, people from Chad, and we know the type of thing that, like, what they have been going on, all those Shabab, we know what they are going. They are only just play everything that we cannot allow them to leave those states. The federal government, security agencies, not only the military, all the security should do what they do. Try those who are clear them there. Because there is no way farmers can go for transition farming. Where those people start invading. There's no way that very soon now, we'll get that January, February, about the government. But the transition farming, they know where even to go and harvest what they have produced. So edible Nigerians feel very well will be a problem. So people, honestly, all the theory about that, what you should be doing, because the digital method of, if I have my way, I'll send the new organ in Amina. Go down to Israel, follow that their system they are using, terms of kinetic and not kinetic, and use it there and then. That is the only thing, because we don't need to give them, because we cannot allow some group of human beings. If we are helping them, we're giving them life, giving them water, and they are coming down here to terrorize them.
All right.
What type of reason should we allow that to happen? A country like ours, no. We cannot tolerate that. Please, take the authority concerned, the military, the human, do the needful, now or never. From our people.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo. So back to, I guess Dr. Sani Abdullahi Shinkafi. Clearly, one of the difficulties might be that they were able to assimilate into the local community. So language is not a problem. So it's not as if from this person's language, we know he's not one of us. It might just come down to physical recognition that, okay, I don't know this gentleman, but he speaks my language. He can communicate with me. So there's a problem there. I don't know what language these people are speaking, but that the local communities, first of all, maybe you clarify that for me. Why were the local communities so easily taken in? Do they have a similarity in language?
You see, this Lakurawa has similarity in language, and also most of them can speak Arabic fluently. Like the most disheartening and heartbreaking of the emergence of this Lakurawa, especially in Bale, in Gudu local government, they slaughter the traditional ruler in that community. They used to remove even the chief imam. If the chief imam cannot recite Quran or sermon fluently during Friday congregational prayer. So this is some of the deception they are introducing into the locales. You know, in the Niger Republic, Burkina Faso, Niger, and also Mali. Some of them can speak Hausa fluently, and some of them can speak also Arabic fluently. So this is where they share the same similarities, but there are some dissimilarities on the ideology of the Islamic tradition they are trying to now introduce into the local communities. You know, some Muslim communities are Shia, some are Sunni, some are Tijaniya. So most of this Niger Republic are more dominantly Tijaniya. So they came with the deception. They celebrate Maulud in this Eid Maulud. And so they now feel that they are part and parcel of them.
Yeah, I see. The Emir of Kano is the head of the Tijaniya movement. Is it the same?
Yeah, the Emir of Kano is the head of Tijaniya movement in West African sub-region or in Nigeria.
Okay, in Nigeria.
It's the same Tijaniya. All the Tijaniya movement celebrate Eid Maulud. But Sunni, that is the Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamatul Sunnah, it is not in accordance with their tradition practice, in line with the Islamic injunction.
You know,
but Tijaniya and even Qadiriya and Shia celebrate Maulud, and some Islamic fanatics or extremists.
You know, we're going to have to leave it here for now. Dr. Sani Abdullahi Shinkafi, I want to thank you very much for helping us to understand this new phenomenon, is what I would call it. Thank you very much for helping us understand that. It's an ongoing conversation. This is a subject that's not going to go away immediately. We'll be right on it. Once again, we thank you for coming on the program. We're going to have to leave it here. That's our program for today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Fola, and up next is we have here we